Alright, so in the last video we made some huge progress on the RS3. We pulled the entire engine and also now have a way better look at all the damages. Alright, so in the last video we made some huge progress on the RS3. We pulled out the entire engine and now have a way better look at all the damages. And we basically stripped this thing completely apart so that we can finally fix it and put it together the right way. And now that everything is out, we can start focusing on all the details that will bring this car back to life. And in this video, we're doing work all around the car, especially a lot of body work, also fixing things that got bent, misaligned, or completely destroyed during the crash. But there is one thing that we need to address, and that is the suspension. Because our number one goal on this car after we got it was to fix up the entire suspension and get this car back rolling on all four wheels again, which we pretty much did, and it's completely rolling. We just have it on the dolly so that we can move around in the garage, but we still have one problem down there on the driver's side lower control arm, because this thing has one big bend down here, which is making the wheel sit completely off. Because if we look inside, the steering wheel is completely straight. The front right wheel sits also completely straight after we fixed it up, but the front left, due to the low control arm, is turned to the left. And at the end, the entire reason why we couldn't get this one swapped out is because we would have to remove this one bolt, which isn't the problem. But before we remove this engine, the transmission would be there, and the transmission caused us a couple of problems because it was so tight down there that you could barely pull the bolt out by 2 inches. But now that the engine and the transmission is out, we can now finally swap this one out and finish the suspension.
First up, we're going to get the car in the air so that we can get the jacks underneath and have the car fully in the air, and I'll explain why we're doing this in a little bit. And the wheel can come off and the fender liner as well. Luckily this one is still fine. We only needed a new one on the passenger side. After all the bolts are out, we can continue by getting the knuckle out the way. Also can't forget about the height sensor. They're pretty easy to break since they're plastic. Then the control arm comes right out.
The old and bent one is now completely out. Here we have the new one. We swapped over the little bracket for the height sensor. And yeah, this one was bent up pretty badly, as you can see here. And if we lay them flat down, we can see that this one slopes down and that this one is completely straight. So now that we have this one, we can put this one back into the car.
We just do everything backwards now, and it should be pretty simple to put it back in. I think right now is also a good time for you guys to like and subscribe. It's completely free. It can always change your mind later.
And just like that, we have the new lower control arm in place and already looks a lot straighter without the wheel even on. So that is hopefully now the last piece to the suspension. So that's the suspension now completely done finally. And as I said before, there is a reason why we put the car on the jacks. And this is what we're gonna do next, the body work and also structural work, because we're gonna start with this chassis leg, because this chassis leg is pretty bent, as we can see from the front. It's completely inwards, and yeah, this is what we're gonna do now. And we put it on the jack so that we can level it out and also pull on it, which is what we're gonna show you in a little bit, what our method with that is gonna be. It's gonna be a little bit sketchy, it's gonna be homemade, and we'll even have to see if that works because we already tried method 1 and that didn't really work with our little pogo stick to bend it, but this is really, really hard to bend. So now we need to level this one out. We already measured it, and this side needs to be raised by about 1 centimeter. So we're gonna put something underneath to raise it because the garage obviously is sloped a little bit for water and stuff like that. So first up, we're gonna raise this side. The car is now finally completely leveled out. Took a little bit for some weird reason, but it's finally leveled out. And for this next step, which we're gonna be doing, as I said, we're gonna have a little bit of our own method for this. We're gonna need some daylight, and right now it's getting late, so I'll see you guys tomorrow. It's now the next day, and we're finally going to continue with this chassis leg and kind of build our own frame machine to pull this. And that's also why we have the truck, and why I also said that we want to have some daylight so we can actually show you guys what we're doing and how we're doing this. And the way we're doing this is going to be pretty interesting, honestly. We have never tried this before, and it's going to be, as I said, a homemade method, so don't try this at home because we don't know what will happen really, but we're still going to give it a shot. And the way we're going to do it is use this extension out of a body repair kit. It's not just some random metal pipe. It is out of a body repair kit with the hydraulic system and everything, which we have down here. And the way we're doing this, why we also need this truck, we're going to put this thing between the truck down here on the frame, and then also on the frame of the car right here where it's still straight. And then after that, we're going to put these clamps right here, this clamp around here, somewhere in between here where we can get it in and then secure it. And then also use this hydraulic pullback ram so that we can pull it across, while we're also putting this one in between is so that we don't pull everything apart, because this bar down here is going to hold it in place so that we only move this front piece. So we're going to set this thing up and hopefully it works. And why we're also doing it like this is because method number 1 didn't really work. And this is what we used for method number 1. This is what I like to call our pogo stick. And this is for body repairs. And the way it works, you use this chain and link it into all of these, into these hooks. And then you hook it around here. As you can see in this video, we tried doing that and put a lot of tension on there, but nothing would move at all and it would just stay in place because this thing is made of a really strong material and also has some kind of reinforcement in there down there, as you can see, which the RS3 only has. The A3 doesn't have it. Not too sure about the S3, but that didn't work. The only thing that we did move are these hooks right here. We bent these, and then also the hooks on the chain right here. So that's why this one didn't really work that well. So this is why we have to go to method 2. And a lot of you guys are probably wondering why we are even trying to do this, if it is such a hard job, and why we don't just take it to some body shop where they have an actual frame machine and can pull this. And the reason for that is that we want to try it out and learn new skills as we go on the car, because as I said, we've never done this before. And if you would just give the car to random people who do it for you, you won't learn anything to it. So that's why we try to do it ourselves, and we probably can't even make it any worse than it is right now. So that's why we're giving it a shot. If it doesn't work at all, then we'll obviously give it to a frame machine where they pull it straight. But as I said, we're going to try this one first. And first, we did think that we just give it to our friend at the body shop who will pull it straight. But we're going to give it our best and see if it works. So let's set this up.
Whilst we're setting this up, I just want to tell you a little bit about myself. I'm 17 and I'm still in school, and I always loved cars, and especially working on them. I spent so much time working on these cars. There have been a couple people saying that we should make longer videos and also put more content into it, but we don't do this full time and sadly don't have the time to do so. Especially right now, we're in a bit of a time crunch because we're also working on our new house. So make sure to like and subscribe so we can grow together and make more content for you guys.
So here we now have everything completely set up and should hopefully work. As I said, never done it before, so don't know if it works. And just like I said before, clamp this onto here, have this bar in between here so that this will move and holds against it. The only thing that we do have to worry about is that this car is on jacks, and since we're pulling on the front and also holding against it, it could be that the car will slide with the back end towards the right. So we definitely need to keep an eye out on that, and also what's happening on the front. And as I said, we have the hydraulic pullback ram, and we're gonna pump in here and then it's gonna retract and pull it in there hopefully. So now let's give this a shot and see if it works.
And it actually looks like it's working a little bit, so we kept pulling and hammering. We also heated it up to take tension off and that it would maybe stay in position. Here you can see again how far we actually bent it, but sadly it didn't really stay that far out.
And just like that, method number 2 didn't really work that well, definitely better than method number 1, but if we still look at it, it's still completely bent and doesn't even look like we made any progress. But we did find a little bit more information about it, because since we pulled it out by quite a lot actually, because it did work kind of, but not really that great, it did make the metal start to rip because it was bent inwards, and then we started bending it out again. Down here also on the corner ripped completely. Up here this entire piece is ripped, and it did work and we could probably make it straight again, but then it would still be ripped. And even if we give it to our friend at the body shop, he could pull it straight, but then it obviously wouldn't be as strong as it would be before. You could weld it, but then you still aren't really sure if it is as strong. So what we now have decided is that we're going to swap it out. With swapping out, I'm not meaning that we're swapping out the entire thing. It is going to be a cut from the front to the back with this outer shell, because it is this little outer shell right here and then the back piece. So we're somehow gonna swap this out, not really too sure how. We do have the official manual from Audi on how to swap this out and where to make the cuts and how to actually do the procedure correctly. So that's really good that we know how to do that. And now the problem is to buy a chassis leg, or at least the front piece right here where we can swap it out. Same thing with this front end plate where the crash bar bolts onto. Also is pretty beat up, so maybe easier to also buy a new one with this. Not really too sure what we're gonna do. So since we can't continue with this chassis leg right here, we're gonna continue with the driver's side one. And there's two things which we have to do with this one, but we're gonna start with one of them, and that is also this front end plate, because with the crash bar getting hit and then also bent, this front end plate also has a couple of bends in here, but definitely savable. And it's just like these corners that are bent inwards and outwards, so this should be a quick save. But then one thing that we also found out in the last video is that this chassis leg actually is bent, which is what we suspected all along. And the bend is right here, as you can see. This is where the engine mount sits in, and it's supposed to go completely straight, but then it goes all the way back here. This is also why we had some issues with getting the engine mount out. But with this chassis leg, we wouldn't have to swap anything out. Should be a easy fix, but we're not gonna continue with getting this chassis leg straight. As I said, we're gonna get this front end plate straight.
So first we took a look at it to see how bent it really is and where we need to bend it back. And then we can start the hammering and also check it in between so we don't go too far.
And just like that, we have the front end plate completely straight again. Took a couple of hits and now it's back to its original position and looks 1,000 times better. Now the next thing we're going to be doing is this apron right here. And why we're doing it is because it's not in its right position. It's roughly there because we already got it out. It was completely bent inwards. We also had to bend it out, but since it is just this little piece of steel right here, it was pretty easy to get it out, to be honest. But now that we also have the measurements from Audi, we now also know where it needs to go, and we also know that it needs to be bent out a little bit more. So now we're going to take our trim gauge and use different points also on this apron, which is in its correct position, and then measure around with multiple points and try to get this one as close as possible. So here we now have our measurements, and before when we worked on the apron we didn't have those, and that's why we put it in its rough position. But now we have those, and if we put the trim gauge into these little holes right here, we can actually see how far off it is. It's not by a lot, but it is off by a little bit, and this is what we're gonna try to correct now.
So we first tried it with some hammering. Then we tried it to pull it a little bit. And then we combined the two. So we pulled it and then hammered it to try and get the tension off.
And after some hammering and pulling, we did get it over by a little bit, but we still need a little bit, around 5 millimeters, which is not a lot. But towards the end, when it's going into its right position, it's gonna get harder, which is why we now have our hydraulic system here popped up again for the body repair. Have everything hooked up, so now we're gonna try to pump it in its right direction, which should be a lot easier. And here we now have the trim gauge in place, and we still have it under pressure and tension, but it is looking good. But if we would let the tension off, it would go back a little bit, so we have to overextend it to get it in its right position, but we don't know by how much, so that's what we're gonna figure out now. Now, after trying a couple of different methods, we actually did kind of get it in the right direction, but not in the right position just yet, because we kind of have a difficult situation with the entire front end, with also getting measurement points across the entire car. We can't use the driver's side chassis leg because that one is bent outwards. Still have to fix that. And then we also have this huge problem on the chassis leg right here, which we have to fix. We did order that part for the outer shell, where we're gonna cut it, replace it, and that's gonna be part of next week's video. So that's gonna be pretty exciting to see how we do that, because as I said before, we have the entire manual on how to swap it out from Audi. So should be pretty straightforward, hopefully. So we're kind of floating around in no man's land right now with this rebuild. So we're gonna stop here and we're gonna continue with one of our other cars. And this car is our 2019 Audi Q7, which is a very, very nice car. but it has one big problem that we never really found the solution to because we never really knew what it actually was. And this problem has something to do with the exhaust and the downpipes, mainly the downpipes. And this is something that happens across a lot of different Audis, and a problem that a lot of people might actually know. And this problem is that the downpipes and then also the exhaust start vibrating, and this is because there's a specific frequency where they start vibrating at a certain RPM, which is around 1200 and 1000. We noticed this once we got this car. Every time you would pull up to a red light or a stop sign, whatever, when the car would downshift and then pass by 1000 RPM again, it would just do vibrations, which are pretty hard to explain. And you would feel them through the seat, they're light vibrations. First we thought I had to do something with the tires, that they were not balanced equally, so they would vibrate. So we swapped those out and checked them. Then we thought that it was wheel hub bearings, those were fine. Then we had the suspicion that it had something to do with the transmission mount or the engine mounts even, that something was wrong with them. Then we also noticed that it would happen once you were parked, and if you would put it in neutral and rev it up to 1000 RPM and hold it there, it would just constantly vibrate, so it had nothing to do with those. And then for weeks and months we never really knew what it was, trying to figure out what it was, and then we just kept researching it, and then eventually found out that it has something to do with the exhaust and the downpipes. We then also found out that this is actually a pretty serious problem which Audi had, because it was published on the NHTSA website, which stands for National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. They published that on there as a safety bulletin, giving the procedure on how to fix this issue, and it's kind of the communication between the manufacturer and the dealerships on how to fix these problems. So now we're going to fix this problem in our own way, and here's a quick video on what it looks like from underneath, where you can actually see the exhaust vibrating. And our solution for this is to use these tailpipe hangers for exhaust. And what we're going to be doing is kind of handcuffing the downpipes together, because this car has two downpipes and they're not connected in any way, only with the exhaust on the bottom. So what we're going to try to do is attach them together with these, and as I said, act like handcuffs so that they're put together and then vibrate the same and have a different frequency and don't vibrate like that. We don't really know if this will work. We're hoping that it will work, so let's try to get this on. And just like that, we have it handcuffed and completely tight. We have one clamp right here, another clamp right here, then these two bolts which hold them together, and it's pretty tight. This is one rubber piece which you can bend, which is actually pretty good. If it will hold or not is now the question, and if it actually now works or not. If it holds it together and if it still vibrates, let's try it out and see if this solves the problem or not. So now I'm gonna take it for a quick spin and also bring you guys with me and see if I can still feel it. So as I said, it's always when you would like stop and then the car would downshift, go above 1000 again, drop by the 1000, and then you would have the vibrating and feel it. So we're gonna stop real quick. And actually, it's still there like a tiny bit, but it's definitely a lot better, I would say. And try again. Yeah, it's definitely still there by a little bit, which we would have maybe guessed because those little clamps wouldn't really do that much. But as I said, this definitely helped a little bit and makes it a little less noticeable whilst driving. But if you guys have any recommendations, have the same problem, and know how to fix it a different way, let me know in the comments down below. And now I'll also give you guys a quick clip of it underneath after we tried fixing it. It's pretty hard to tell on camera and see the differences of before and after, but I can tell you guys that there definitely is a change in there. It's less noticeable and not as aggressive before, but we're gonna try to find a new solution for that. So here's gonna wrap up this week's video. Make sure to check out my TikTok and my Instagram, gonna be on the screen right here and also in the description down below. Make sure to like, subscribe, it really helps out this channel. Drive safe and stay tuned.